Hello, everyone. So, as you guys have heard, a lot of people have been moving to Miami. It's been like that, I would say, since the pandemic. I myself also immigrated from Miami about almost 11 years ago. It's crazy. But today, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about one of my all-time favorite neighborhoods in Miami. Coconut Grove. It is one of the most desirable and historic neighborhoods in all of Miami-Dade County. So today we're going to talk about different things when it comes to this neighborhood. We're going to talk about the boundaries. We're going to talk about the schools. We're going to talk about the real estate. We're going to talk about what there is to do. And hopefully this video can help you figure out if this is the right neighborhood for you in Miami-Dade County. And before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for everything Miami. All right, if you're new here, my name is Sarah Desamours Reindorf. I just got married, so I have a new name now. I am a real estate agent here in Miami, Florida. I have my own team called the SD Group. So we actually have two websites. We have sdgroupmiami.com, and we also have a new one that I'm going to link down below if you guys want to do your search there. But beyond being a realtor, I'm also a mom. I have an 11-year-old daughter, so I know all about the schools. I know all about the neighborhoods. When I moved from Montreal, Canada to Miami, I discovered every single neighborhood, not only through work, but through being a foodie and also just trying to explore the city almost like a tourist and also living there. We're going to talk about Coconut Grove today. Even before I moved to Miami, it used to be one of my favorite neighborhoods. I remember coming here when my dad lived there. Back in the days, Coco Walk used to be such a party place. Coconut Grove in general was more of a party place than it is now. Some people say it was more for college, but I don't remember it being only for college kids. I remember going there with my parents, going to the Cheesecake Factory. Anyways, I remember all the stores were open until like 1 a.m. There was always a live band, a bunch of people. It was such a party place. Now I actually live in Coconut Grove. It's more holistic, I would say. You always see people working out. You still have an amazing restaurant scene. You still have an aspect of the livelihood, but it's more calm now, I would say. There's a lot more families. You have a lot of people that are into sports, into outdoor sports. You always see people cycling. You always see people jogging. The water is just absolutely stunning. I mean, Coconut Grove, almost no matter where you live, you're walking distance to the water. I might be biased because I really do like the neighborhood, but I'm hoping to help you figure out if you like it as well. Okay, now let's look at the Coconut Grove map. This is what Miami-Dade County looks like. By the way, if you know people that are telling you that they're going to Miami and they're going to Hollywood or Fort Lauderdale, it's a different county. They're not in Miami-Dade. If you look at the location of Coconut Grove, it's here. Coconut Grove is south of Brickell. This is where Brickell is. So if you guys want to just think about Miami as a whole, right? You have South Beach here. You have the bridge that takes you to downtown and Edgewater. And then when you're going south, sorry about this. When you're going south, you have Brickell right here. And right after Brickell, you have Coconut Grove. So when I used to live in Brickell, which is also an awesome neighborhood, I used to go on really long walks and I would always end up in Coconut Grove. So you have Coconut Grove right here. It is north of Coral Gables. So although it is north of Coral Gables, it's also east of Coral Gables because Coral Gables is all of here and it also has an area right here. It is north of a part of Coral Gables and also east of a part of Coral Gables. So the way that Miami works, right? If you're going south, the more north you go towards Brickell, the more expensive it is. If you're living in Cutler Bay, it's going to be a better price than Palmetto Bay. Palmetto Bay is going to be a better price than Pinecrest, etc. So Coconut Grove is kind of up there. It's not the most affordable neighborhood in Miami, but it is one of the most beautiful. The main zip code of Coconut Grove is 33133. Now keep in mind, there is a part of 33133 that is not part of Coconut Grove. So a lot of the Coral Way area, so you see South Dixie Highway here is what we also call US 1. Anything that is west of US 1 is not considered Coconut Grove, but some of those areas might have the exact same zip codes, right? So where I'm circling here might have the same zip code as Coconut Grove without being Coconut Grove. Depending on your budget, I would say if your budget is a little bit under $1 million or just at $1 million and you're looking for a new construction home, you might not be able to find that on the Coconut Grove side, but you might be able to cross US 1 and be very close, literally walking distance. You just have to cross one street to Coconut Grove and you'll be able to find something much bigger and nicer. Also, to give you some perspective on where Coconut Grove is, it's about 15 to 20 minutes from the Miami airport, without traffic, of course. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to South Beach, a little bit more to get more towards the North Beach area where all of the hotels are. There's 3 bridges for you to get to the beach, right? So you have the 395 here, you have the Venetian Causeway, and then you have the 195 here. So when I'm talking about South Beach, I'm talking about south of 5th, where it says South Point Park Pier, that area. This is the closest area for me to get to South Beach. For example, if I'm going to Carbone or if I'm going to Milos, it's very, very quick for me. This is also where all of the cruise ships are. Now, a lot of people who live in Miami do not go to South Beach. When it comes to the beach, a lot of us go to Key Biscayne just because it's less touristy, it's more family friendly, they have little tents, they have barbecues and whatnot. From Coconut Grove to Key Biscayne, it's like 15 minutes. Virginia Key's even quicker than that, but if you want to go all the way to Key Biscayne and Crandon Park, I would say plan from 15 to 20 minutes with no traffic. Key Biscayne is also a really beautiful neighborhood. I might do a video on that next. So I hope this gives you a good idea of where Coconut Grove is. And when it comes to the history and the vibe of Coconut Grove, it's not something that is easy to put into pictures. Try to picture it this way. It's a very bohemian, eclectic. There's a lot of artists that live there, but at the same time, it's also very luxurious. The nature is absolutely stunning there. Here I just wrote Coconut Grove vibe on Google and it gives you a good idea of what it looks like. I personally like about the energy and the vibe of Coconut Grove is that everyone seems to be active. It's one of those neighborhoods in Miami that is very walkable. You can walk to restaurants, you can walk to the gym, you can just walk wherever it is that you want to go. They have the most amazing farmers market every Saturday. If you're into yachts and boating, there is the Coconut Grove Yacht Club right here. There's a lot of banyan trees. I'm sorry, French Canadian, I might have an accent, but you see what I'm talking about. It's those big, beautiful trees just everywhere that you go. The nature there is just stunning. Everything is not only walkable, but there's kind of a village feel, right? So when you're walking around Coco Walk, when you're walking on Main Highway or on McFarlane Road, you have a bunch of little shops, a lot of local shops, local vendors, local restaurants. And also keep in mind that Coconut Grove is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Miami. Remember that Coconut Grove is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Miami. So you do have a lot of that Bahamian feel, a lot of the island feel. It is very family friendly, no matter where you go. And you know what? I'll also add, it's not just family friendly, it's also very pet friendly. Almost everybody has a dog there. Whether you like the house life or the condo life or the townhouse vibe, there's something for you. And in the Grove, you also have the most amazing shops, some of the most amazing restaurants in Miami, some Miami classics that have been there for 20, 30 years. For example, one of my favorites is Le Bouchon du Grove, which is one of my favorite French restaurants. You have the famous Green Street Cafe that people go to all the time. And on top of the restaurants and the shops, you have a bunch of parks. So here I pulled up a map of where a lot of the parks are located. But look at all the parks that you have there. And a lot of these parks are by the water. Peacock Park is one of my favorites. I think it's a really, really nice park. So if you go a little bit more north towards the Grove, and by the way, the more north you go in the Grove, the more expensive the real estate is. So you have Kennedy Park, which is close to some of the best schools as well. And in Kennedy Park, it's not showing up here. Let me see if I can Google it. You have AC's IC. AC's ICs. You see it here? Okay, perfect. You see, it's inside of Kennedy Park. It's this guy that just has this truck in the park. This guy's been there forever. I remember coming to Coconut Grove when I was a kid and this guy was there. It's not just cash only. Now he takes cards. The best slushies ever. The best slushies. He has different types of slushies. If you're going there for the first time, go with the lemonade slushie. He has hot dogs, he has snacks. And when you go along Bayshore Drive, you have the Starbucks, you have Monty's. Monty's is one of my favorite Miami staples. They serve a lot of seafood. And then when you go further down, you have the Fresh Market, Bayshore Club, you have the sailing school. You just have so many things just walking distance. And most of the waterfront condos are also along Bayshore Drive. I would say all the way down to here. We'll talk about real estate in a second. But let's not forget some very iconic things in the Grove. At the edge of the Grove, you have Viscaya Museum and Gardens. Look how beautiful. It's such a beautiful place to visit. You can purchase a ticket to go visit Viscaya Museum and Gardens. I've been to weddings there. You can do a photo shoot there. It's such a gorgeous, historic staple in Miami. If ever you're in Miami on vacation or just exploring the city, I highly suggest you go to Viscaya. Feel free to go on Google and look it up. If you're staying in Brickell, for example, and you want to visit Viscaya, you can just hop on the Metro Rail and it's one station. Oh, and speaking of the Metro Rail, one thing that I wanted to show you guys. So along US 1 goes all over Miami. You see one? It goes all over Miami. It goes all the way to Broward. The cool thing that I wanted to show you, parallel to US 1 here, you have the Metro Rail, which is the whole metro line that we have here in Miami. But they created something called the Underline. Let me show it to you, which I love. And by the way, this is something that has taken years to create and it's now almost completed. But if you live in Coconut Grove, that the whole area of where it is in the Grove, it's completed. So you can basically bike or walk or rollerblade all the way to Brickell in a safe manner. So not only are you on you're on a bike path, there's gates on the side of US 1. So you have some protection there. So you won't have any cars going there. It's literally only bikes, rollerbladers, and people who are walking. This gives you a good idea of what it looks like. I personally love it because I really like walking. I like biking, I like rollerblading, and I especially like doing these things with my daughter or with my husband or with both. We have biked all the way to Brickell and then had dinner in Brickell and went back to the Grove. It's pretty awesome. So you see this? Super cool. A lot of greenery. When you live in the Grove, not only do they have a lot of bike paths, and like I mentioned before, a lot of people that are in the Grove are very active. If you ever drive in that neighborhood, you always see people doing something. But the fact that they added the Underline is just, it's a beautiful added bonus. Okay, when it comes to the lifestyle in Coconut Grove, I did mention a bunch of restaurants before I mentioned the parks. I do want to show you some of the downtown Coconut Grove staples. So Coconut Grove Farmers Market is where I go to every single Saturday. You have a bunch of local vendors selling fruits, selling bread, selling their crystals, their candles, whatever it is that you're into, you're going to find someone at the Coconut Grove Farmers Market who's selling it there. A good friend of mine, she actually sells her cookies there. I have a couple of things that I can only buy at the Coconut Grove Farmers Market. Every single Saturday, it says here it's open as of 10 a.m., usually probably until 4 or 5 p.m. But the later you go, the less things you'll find in the market. You have Navi Coffee and Flowers, which is super popular now. It's brand new. Well, I wouldn't say it's brand new, but it's this new coffee shop that you can go to where they have really awesome coffees. They have matcha, obviously, because matcha is a big thing now, but you can also buy some flowers. So let me look at some of the photos. It's super cute. There is always a freaking lineup. It is indoor, but whenever I pass in front of it, there's so many people there. Very important, Coco Walk. So Coco Walk is kind of like the outdoor mall area of Coconut Grove. You have a bunch of restaurants there. You have a movie theater. It is still one of my favorite movie theaters in Miami. It's still very low key. It's the very comfortable seats where the servers can bring you food. You don't have to purchase your food and bring it to your little seat. You have someone serving you there. And that movie theater has been there forever. You have Mr. O1, which it's right in front of us, but the tree's kind of blocking it. It's one of my favorite pizza spots. But look, this is what Coco Walk looks like. You also have, that's an old Coco Walk. Oh my God, that's what it used to look like back in the days. It does not look like this anymore. Let me see if I can find some more recent photos. This is the movie theater that they have. You also have the Mayfair. not too far. Look at how pretty the Mayfair is. Very vintage looking. And this is what the interior of the hotel looks like. This is one of the places we looked at when we were getting married. It is so Coconut Grove, just with all of the greenery and the vintage look to it. You also have Carbone Vino. You guys know the famous Carbone restaurant that's in New York and Vegas and on the beach. But they opened a Carbone in Coconut Grove, so a very similar menu, amazing Italian food. You have Bombay Darbar is an amazing Indian restaurant in Coconut Grove. The food is really good there. I've never had anything that was so. Everything was always like 10 out of 10. So when it comes to lifestyle, it's much more quiet than Brickell. You have a lot of nature. So when it comes to the lifestyle in Coconut Grove, you have a lot of nature. It is much more quiet than Brickell or the downtown Miami's or even South Beach, I would tell you. There's a lot of privacy for wealthy residents, and keep in mind, the wealthy people that we have are just up there. I mean, Ken Griffin and a lot of high profile people live in that area. And very importantly, you have some of the best schools, not only in Miami, Florida, but some of the best schools in Florida and in the United States. When it comes to the real estate in Coconut Grove, my office is actually in Coconut Grove and has been in Coconut Grove for a very long time. I do think this is a neighborhood that I'm very comfortable and familiar with. Remember at the beginning of the video, I did mention that the more north you go in Coconut Grove, the pricier the real estate is. So let's talk about entry level. So if you're looking for condos, and I'm not talking about anything waterfront, anything that's extremely spacious or whatnot, but usually the condos start around 500, 600,000, a million, 1.2 millions if you want something that is more waterfront. When it comes to townhomes, and by the way, townhomes are very popular in Coconut Grove, whether they're older townhomes, newer townhomes. I go on very long walks almost every day and I see townhomes everywhere. Usually they start at around $1.5 million. They can go all the way to 3 million and up, especially if they're new construction. And when it comes to single family homes, it's usually between $2 million and $6 million. And when it comes to luxury estates, and there's some beautiful luxury homes in the Grove, they usually start at around $8 million. When it comes to rentals in Coconut Grove, it's usually starting at $4,000 a month for a one bedroom. It's a little bit higher than Brickell, because if you look at the number of condos compared to the number of homes, you have way more homes than condos. You just have a few buildings in the Grove compared to Brickell or downtown or Edgewater, and a lot of the condos are in the most desirable area, aka right on Bayshore. A lot of them are waterfront, so that increases the value tremendously. The one thing that you need to know about the Grove, especially when you're looking at single family homes or townhomes, is that a lot of the homes, they sit on tropical lots. If you look at other neighborhoods in Miami, you won't see as much nature and trees as you do in Coconut Grove homes. So it is really distinct there. Now I'm going to share some real estate with you guys so you can have an idea of what's on the market. We're going to start with some sales. I did a Coconut Grove search. I did not use the 33133 zip code because not all of those properties are in Coconut Grove. Some of them are in the Shenandoah area or are considered Miami, so they're not typical Coconut Grove. I put all the properties on the market in Coconut Grove, so you have 295 properties, including homes, condos, and townhomes. The cheapest ones, there's some for 200,000. That's very rare. Another thing that I want to show you guys just before I get started, this cheaper condo, right? You see it's closer to US 1. That area of Coconut Grove is considered a little bit less in pricing than if you go more towards the water. And that's why you need to work with a realtor. You need to work with someone who's gonna guide you very well, because if you drive around that neighborhood, it might not be your favorite, right? It might not be your favorite part of the Grove, the same way that not everybody wants to be by the water. Not everybody wants to be in North Grove. Some people want to be closer to Grand Avenue, which is considered more the downtown Coconut Grove area. So there's an area in Coconut Grove called Grove Isle. So it's an island right off of Coconut Grove. You see it on the map here. You see where Grove Isle is? So Bayshore is where I was telling you that all the parks are. So you go more north on Bayshore, you get on this bridge, and then you get on Grove Isle. So there you have condos there, and you also have a new construction building called Vida that's going around part of it. Because it's an older building, you'll have more spacious condo. So this one is pretty spacious. So they're asking $1 million for this. This is a 2 bedroom, but it's 1,600 square feet, which is pretty big. Let's look at another condo, maybe something a little bit newer. Let's look at Mr. C. 1 bedroom on Tiger Tail at Mr. C. They're asking $1.25 million. I mean, it's a beautiful building. It's right on the water, and it's not the biggest condo. It's 613 square feet for $1.2 million. But this is the newest building in Coconut Grove right now. So it was just completed just recently, I believe last year. Price per square foot that they're asking is just over $2,000 per square foot. Let's look at something a little bit more high end. One of my favorite buildings in Coconut Grove is called Grove at Grand Bay. If you've been in the Grove, for sure you've seen these buildings. So you have 2 towers there right on Bayshore, and it seems like almost every unit you have some type of water view. It's such a beautiful building. Now let's look at the prices of Grove at Grand Bay. So you have one here, a unit at Grove at Grand Bay. Again, my favorite building. This is a 5 bedroom. Look at the view. Wow. They're asking $8 million for it, but it's huge. It's a 5 bedroom, 6 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet. Let's look at some photos together. Wow. Stunning. Just the building itself is so perfect. The service is nice, the lobby is nice, the amenities are gorgeous, and the units are huge. You also have some ultra luxurious properties. You have this one asking $20 million. Not only do you have a huge condo, but you get a private pool. I mean, it's like a house. This is bigger than a house. 7,000 square feet. Wow. Okay, so that gives you a good idea of everything in the Grove. Now let's look at some single family homes and townhomes. So let's start with single family. Only 121, eh? The ones that are cheaper, look, it's literally the lot. The other ones are very tiny. So let's look at something here. Okay, this one looks nice on William Avenue. Let's look at this one. This one's asking $2 million. It's 1,200 square feet, but newer construction, it seems. It's very nice. So just giving you guys an idea, look at what's on the market now. There's not many single family homes under $1 million, my friends. This one on Carter is 1.1 million and everything else is going up. I'm pretty sure that if I call some of them, they might be off the market already. Who knows? If you guys are interested in any types of Coconut Grove homes, you guys can search on my website right here called Your Miami Home Guide. You guys can do your own searches on our website. So sarah.yourmiamihomeguide.com, and you'll see that Coconut Grove is my first neighborhood guide. So you'll have so many stats. You can do your own search. You can have some numbers. You can have an idea of how the market is going there. You can search your own home. So you can go here and then you write Coconut Grove. Look. Now let's look at some townhomes. Only 23 available. So you see here what the townhouses look like. They start at $670,000 for a 2 bedroom, and yeah, 1,000 square feet. It's not the biggest, but it gives you a good idea. I usually like townhouses just like this, the newer ones. And look, let's look at some photos together. Look, this is gorgeous. See, you're not too far from the water. You're walking distance to all the shops. And that's the thing, I just really love the greenery and all the trees that are there. You see some bamboo trees. I love the wood color in the kitchen. You can either get something that's newer construction, or you can get something that's a little bit older. But even the ones that are a little bit older, they're not cheap. Look at this one on Bird. This one right there, this is not the newest. This is a 2006 construction, and they're still asking $1 million for it. Why? Location, location, location. Plus you get a private yard. We like that. We like a yard. And some of the older ones are spacious. So you can always get something that's a little bit older and do some renovations yourself. You do have some townhomes that are asking north of $3-4 million. Those are usually really huge or really close to the water. This one, for example, you see how this one is close to the water? See underneath where it is? It's huge. Those ones are 3 stories. This one's in a beautiful community called L'Ermitage, which is a private gated community right by the water, right in front of Ransom Everglades School. Now let's look at some rentals in Coconut Grove as well. You might tell yourself, you know what, before I buy, I want to rent for a year or two. I want to see what the vibe is like. I want to see which areas of Coconut Grove I like. I want to see if I want a condo or a house, whatever it is. I can also help you with a rental. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like just in a nutshell. So if you want more information on rentals, please contact me. You can email me. All my information is in the box down below. So let me sort the rentals by the lowest to the highest, just to give you an idea. As you can see here, the lowest rentals are super tiny. You'll get a 1-bedroom probably. So if you have a family, this is not ideal for you. If your budget is $3,000-$4,000, you can definitely get a 2-bedroom, but it won't necessarily be in one of the newer buildings, as you can see here. Now, if you're looking in the $4,000, $5,000 range, you have more options. These prices are very common for a townhouse or a single family home, especially if you go more towards the North Grove. Expect to pay $6,000-$7,000+ for a 3-bedroom. You see, if you want something a little bit bigger, if you want a new construction home like this one on the left, the one that I'm circling, the one at 2984 Coconut Ave, it's $15,000 a month that they're asking. Even when you go to Grove Isle, a friend of mine, we just rented his condo in Grove Isle for $15,000 for a 3-bedroom. Again, you're waterfront. Remember this. The moment that you're waterfront, prices go up. You have this one house that's asking $60,000, and you have a 4-bedroom in Grove Isle asking $45,000. So all in all, in the Grove, if you want something reasonable, I would say $2,000+ for an older 1-bedroom, all the way to $40,000+ a month. Another big reason why a lot of families choose to move to Coconut Grove is because of the access to some of the best schools in Miami and in Florida, both public and private. I'm going to break it down into 3 categories. So first we're going to talk about the private schools, then we're going to talk about the public and some of the charter schools, and we're also going to talk about some nearby schools that a lot of people are interested in. Let's first talk about the #1 school. I mean, people love this school. It's one of the best out there. It is called Ransom Everglades. It is one of the most prestigious schools in Miami. It is a middle school and a high school. They have 2 campuses. Their middle school campus is on Tiger Tail and close to Bayshore Drive as well. It's more towards North Grove, so going towards Vizcaya. And their high school is on Main Highway, which is by the water. So it is from grades 6 to 12. It was founded in 1903. Their waterfront high school campus is just stunning. A lot of the students that attend Ransom Everglades end up going to Ivy League schools, and the tuition is about $50,000+ per year. I'll show you guys what the campus looks like. This is the high school campus. Walking distance to Coco Walk. They have a sailing club. They have a pool. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful schools I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like a college campus. Another great school in the Grove is Carrollton, which is an all-girls school starting in pre-K. It's very, very strong when it comes to early education. It's very popular with Grove families. It goes all the way to high school. It goes all the way to 12th grade. You also have Coconut Grove Montessori School, which is very popular. So it starts very young. So it starts at 18 months, so 1.5 years old, all the way to 3 years old, and then all the way to 5th grade. A lot of the kids that end up going to Carrollton or some of the other middle schools, they came from the Coconut Grove Montessori School as well. Another very popular private school is St. Stephen's. It's right there, right in front of Coco Walk. A great location. It starts in preschool and goes all the way to the end of elementary school. Now let's talk about some public schools. You have Coconut Grove Elementary. It starts in pre-K, goes all the way to 5th grade. It's an excellent public school. What I like the most about this school is that they have different languages. I'm from Montreal, Canada, so it was important for my daughter to know French, and that was one of the schools that I considered when she was little because they have an entire French program. They also have a Spanish program. I also love that they have a lot of extracurricular activities. They have a tennis court right in front of the school, which is a public tennis court, but they do have an affiliation with neighborhood tennis. If you want to put your kids in tennis after school, the instructors will go get the kids in school, take them to tennis, and then you can pick them up after tennis. It's really great. You also have Carver Middle School, which is an excellent magnet school. As you can see here, they have different languages. In that school, they have Spanish, they have French, they have German, they have Italian. That's another school that I was highly considering for my daughter because because she speaks French. Considered a public school. The way that it works is by lottery. So you apply, and then if you're in the lottery, then you can send your kid to that school. It is a middle school, so eventually you'll have to figure out where you want to put your kid in high school. People who live in Coconut Grove are not just limited to the schools I just mentioned and some of the other schools that are in the Grove, but there is also some nearby schools that are excellent. And when you live in Coconut Grove, those schools are not too far and they're highly, highly desirable for families. So one of those schools is Gulliver Prep. So it goes from pre-K, PK8, all the way to high school, but they have two different campuses. So the first campus is the elementary and the middle school, and then the other campus is the high school, which in Miami we call the upper school, which is closer to Pinecrest. And look, it's right there. The upper school is right here, but when you live in the Grove, you're not far. You're right there. You can have your kid either take a bus or you can drive them all the way to the upper school. That school is excellent. It's highly rated. Their sports team is amazing. You also have Mast Academy in Key Biscayne, which I see here it says it provides a marine setting and nurturing environment for studies leading to academic success, career preparation, and appreciation of the sea. Another beautiful school. This one is in Key Biscayne. It's at the beginning of Key Biscayne, right by Virginia Key. Mast is not a private school, but it is my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, they do give priority to Key Biscayne residents. So if you live in Coconut Grove, your kid might still be able to go to Mast, but it's not 100% guaranteed. Now, some pros and cons of Coconut Grove. So obviously it's beautiful. There's the historic charm. You have the best schools in Miami. It's close to the bay. It's close to Brickell. It's close to the beach. It's very desirable. Some of the cons are that it is expensive. It is not given at all to live in the Grove. You also have fewer new buildings. So if you're more of a condo person, there's not the most inventory. And during rush hour, the traffic can get a little bit crazy. Some streets like Bayshore only have one lane up to a certain point, so there can be some traffic, especially around the school zones. But except for that, there's more pros than cons. In the past 10 years, I've helped multiple families relocate to Coconut Grove. The demand there has remained extremely strong, probably one of the strongest in Miami-Dade County. And if you're thinking about moving to Coconut Grove or anywhere in Miami, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I help people buy, sell, rent, everywhere, all over Miami-Dade County. I also work with a lot of relocation clients who move from out of state or internationally. So I've done it myself. I've moved from another country to Coconut Grove. Even if you just want to get some information about the neighborhood or any neighborhood in Miami, you can book a consultation with me. It is complimentary. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the subscribe button because this is the first of the many series I'll be doing highlighting some Miami neighborhoods. Let me know if you'd like me to do Coral Gables or Brickell next.